Hello, welcome to Beyond the 3D. This is the 128th episode, and I've got something really good for you today. This is not going to be extremely long. It's going to be deep, but it's not going to be extremely long. And welcome to the new year again. It's by the time I'm recording this, it's the 23rd? Yeah, 23rd of January. Wow, how time flies. It's almost over. The month is almost gone. It's I always say that time is hitched to a rocket ship, and we're in the as the later you get in life, the faster it goes, it seems. Today's episode is called "How to Live Life by Design," and for those of you who know me, you know how adamant I am about designing or curating my life experience. And regardless of what age you are, this is something that you can do. Anybody could do it. I really encourage young people, instead of getting caught up in the weeds of life and the emotional, being emotionally driven one way or another by events, to start curating your life, start designing your life the way that you want it to be. And your experience of life can be broken into two separate halves. Those experiences you can control, that you have control over, those things you can control, and those things you cannot control. That is literally it. In a nutshell, life is either something you have control over or something you don't. And when you break it into those two halves, you can then start to work with it and drill it down to create, ultimately, the feelings that you'd like to have every single day of your life. The feelings. Because, as I've said, alchemy, personal sovereignty is always about creating the feelings, the way you want to feel in life, feeling your best. And when you're feeling your best, great things happen in life, happen to you. It's a frequency. And we'll get into that in a second. Kind of relive that whole vibrational frequency conversation, because that is part of this. So things you can control, things you cannot control. So let's start with the first half, what you can control. And what you have control over in life are your thoughts, words, feelings, inner conversations, otherwise known as self-talk, and your actions and responses to what goes on. That is all you control. That's it. So you're put in this classroom, lots of things called life, and lots of things occur in that classroom. And I'm of the mind that the experiences that you have mirror what you need to learn. The people you meet mirror what you need to, the growth you need to experience within yourself. You attract these people into your life so you can move forward, you can elevate, you can ascend to another level of conscious awareness. Another level of conscious awareness. That is the reason why these things happen. So if you take it from that standpoint, you also can now integrate in the concept of, hey, this is my life play. Right, okay, this is the control aspect of things. This is my life. This is my life play. I am the protagonist. I am the financier. I'm the writer, the director, the producer, the executive producer. I'm the gaffer. I'm the one who holds things. I'm the blocker. I do everything, right? I can rewrite my script. That's the control I'm talking about. And the rewriting of that script actually happens from within you. Choice, what you can control, comes from within. What you cannot control always happens outside of you. And so this relationship, this constant give and take that is occurring, this ebb and flow of life, however, what you can control at all times is what's going on within you. Again, your thoughts, words, feelings, inner conversations, and actions. And the whole concept of personal alchemy and personal sovereignty is about you taking control from the inside to create what's going on the outside, creating the optimum vibrational frequency, operating frequency, operating at the highest vibrations of love and empathy and kindness, charity, and love, unconditional love, compassion. Those are the highest frequencies that you can operate within. operate from, I should say, that you can project outward from within you. You live them, and they in turn are projected out from you. This is the ultimate goal. It's not money, wealth at all costs, stepping on people, lying, cheating, stealing. That's not what it's about. It's about you being the best person that you can be. The best person that you can be. So if things aren't going the way you want them to go in your life, if you're not as happy as you would like to be, if you find that you've put yourself in a rut financially, lots of debt, school or otherwise, and you find that this is weighing you down, if you are not working right now, if you'd like to be, whatever your life circumstances are, those circumstances are there for you to help you evolve. I like to say that the cosmic 2x4 will come and smack you upside your head and shift you out of your comfort zone if you are in a state of fear, afraid to move. The universe will, in effect, force you to move. If you're afraid to leave a relationship, somehow something will happen that will give you the choice of having to leave that relationship. If you're in a job that is really that you don't like, that's causing you to feel apprehensive, you can't stand it, you hate it when you get up in the morning, hate going to work, you're fearful about what you might encounter when you're at work. And I know in certain businesses, people who are faced with situations and circumstances that are way outside their comfort zone, fear can be the optimum feeling. If you're, regardless of what your situation is, if you're not liking your circumstances, your life circumstances, you have been empowered to change them. You have been empowered to change them. And it's that simple. What I've talked about for 127 episodes up to this point is just that, how to literally take control of your actions, your thoughts, your inner conversations, how to literally start directing your life, how to rule over your world as a sovereign, rule over yourself, because it starts from the inside and works outside. Okay, so what you can control is what you need to start controlling. You've got to stop allowing outside influences and circumstances to dictate how you feel about yourself, what you feel you're capable of. The inner conversation that's going on in your head when you say, I don't know if I can do that. I can't do that. That's impossible. I'll never be able to get there. No one has ever done it before. So how am I going to do it? How am I going to get there? You know, Kamala Harris is the new vice president, and I heard something very interesting about her just yesterday. She was always the first in whatever she accomplished. She was always the first woman of color. I can tell you that I know how that feels because I have been or experienced similar situations and circumstances where I was the only black person that got to that level of whatever it was, or I was the only black person for 100 miles in any direction doing what I was doing. You get what you dwell on most. You get what you dwell on most. And I really want to make this point. As an African-American man, I've traveled the world. I lived as a child in areas where people had never seen someone who was black before. And they're telling you this because I want to draw the connection between what your thinking is and what your experience is. Very, very important when it comes to designing your life. You have the experience that your thoughts set up for you. You have the experience that your thoughts set up for you. And I want you to think about that very clearly, because when it comes to race, I can tell you that I know that discrimination exists. However, my most dominant thought is not that I'm going to experience racism. That's not my most dominant thought. Remember that thoughts are things. You get what you think about most. When fear is your most dominant, fear of something is your most dominant inner conversation, fearing this or fearing that, fearing to be discriminated against, fearing to be dissed in some way, okay, disrespected, then you might as well be wearing a sandwich board. And I've always thought this, and it always plays out. You could be wearing you might as well be wearing a sandwich board that says, I think I'm going to be disrespected. I think somebody's going to say something racially inappropriate to me. And we have these ideas that someone who has a long beard and is wearing leather and rides a Harley is racist. I can tell you that's not true. Yes, there are some people who do fit that description. However, I don't attract those people to myself, and I never have. I've been in situations where I've walked into biker bars and been the only black person in the room and not had a problem. Yet I've known other people who say that they've done that before and they've had problems. I'm simply saying our circumstances aren't the same because the time frame involved isn't the same. What I'm trying to come about here and say is that the thought process that you have is going to dictate down the line everything that occurs to you. When you're afraid sitting in a job interview, again, you're wearing a sandwich board that says, I'm afraid. It's across your forehead. I'm afraid to be here. And every thought you have, your body language, your physicality, everything about you is your vibrational frequency will be fear. The person across from you giving you the interview will know that's the case. That's how you feel. What will be going through their head subliminally is, this person isn't confident. I don't think I want this person here. I don't want that here in this environment, in our environment. We're looking for people who are energetic, people who are go-getters, people who want to jump in with both feet and solve problems. We don't want somebody like that. So when I say taking control of what you can control, let's just continue to use this example as far as a job interview. And I've told people before, I've got a book out called Smart College Career Moves. There's a big task that you have to accomplish before you put yourself in front of someone. That is, get your own head together. One of those rules is never go interview for a job you don't really want. You're wasting your time and their time. You're basically settling. And if you can't get into it, you won't enjoy it. You won't want to get up in the morning. And literally, that will lead to physical discomfort after a while. Physical discomfort in some way. That's how it will manifest. So before you go into the job interview, you want to make sure, hey, do I want the job? Is this a company I want to work for? Do the research. Find out about them. Find out about the interviewer, the person's interviewing you. Hey, we got a web out there. It's world, it's wide, whatever. You can find out anything you want. And you can find out about this particular person. You can find out if you have something in common with that person. You can, whatever that commonality is, you can draw upon it when you're sitting there. The whole idea here is to create a bulletproof scenario. That's probably not the right word, bulletproof, but let's put it this way. You're looking to create a solid persona, an energetic presence, basically, right? An energetic presence that nothing can get through. It's kind of like your shield. You are making yourself impervious to whatever is thrown at you. You're confident in yourself. You know you can do whatever it is that they're asking you to do. That is not a worry. If there's something that you don't know, you say it and you say, I am willing to learn. I am here to do it. I can do it. Just throw it before me. I'll figure out a way. 6 ways to Sunday. It'll happen. Okay? I am willing to learn. Whatever training I need to go through, I'll go through it. I'll make it happen. I'm the person you want. Most people, they say in the sales business, the sales industry, I heard this statistic the other day that 92% of people who are in sales never ask for the sale. They never ask the person they're selling to buy what they have to offer. Well, I can tell you that you are selling yourself every single day of the week to strangers, to people you know, people you've known for decades. You're still selling yourself. It's all about basically being a strong presence, a strong force for good, a force for positivity. When someone you know walks into a room, I've heard this. Somebody said the other day, this person walks into a room and everybody stops and looks. Well, what is it about them? They're confident in themselves. That's what it is. Their inner conversation is strong. It's positive about them and what they're capable of. That's what it is. Your self-talk, which I've talked endlessly about. I think the couple episodes I had another self-talk episode. What was that? Self-talk for letting go. I think that was the last one I did. Last podcast a couple of episodes ago, or the last episode. So that inner conversation is something that for me in the last 35 years I have developed. I've turned it into a fine, I've honed it, let's say, into a fine tool for me. I've honed it. I've worked it and worked and worked because I've been in an industry where, as I told someone the other day, I haven't had a guaranteed paycheck in 36 years. I don't know what I'm going to make at the end of the month. I never do. I start out at zero every month. I have no safety net. I have no salary. I have no guarantee. If I don't work, I don't make any money. I don't get paid. Yet everything I do is tied to my attitude about that day and that month. Everything, that moment. I live in the moment. My attitude is finely honed for that moment. This is just something that I've learned. And that is what I am sharing with you in these podcasts, is how to do this, how to finely hone your attitude, how to immediately draw upon the strength within you that you've worked on, you've worked towards. Everybody's had success. Everyone has had success somewhere or the other, but it astounds me how people can forget that, easily forget the success they've had in some area of their life. Heck, man, you don't have to, wear a banner that says, hey, I'm successful. No. What you want to do is you want to take those successes and build upon them to create a positive persona, a presence. Nobody has to know what you've been successful at. However, you know, and that's all that counts. And it's not about going out there and say, I've been successful at this and that and the other thing. It's not about ego. It's not about personality. It's about you knowing that you've done something. Golfers do this all the time. They'll turn around and hit one of the best shots they've ever hit in life, and the first thing they'll say is, I can't believe I did that. Well, who else did it? It was successful. Live in the success. Take that success and bury it deep inside. Make it part of you. Never forget you did that. Even if the rest of the round sucks, you know what you're capable of because you just did it. You performed the miracle. More miracles are there for you when you start telling yourself that you can perform miracles. I do it all the time. I'm playing golf here in a couple of hours. When I go out there, I have no preconceived notions about how the round will go. It's one shot at a time, one moment at a time. That's what it is. I'm gathering together all of my resources, mental and otherwise, mental and physical, and my inner conversation, my physicality. Am I relaxed? Am I breathing? Got to oxygenate yourself. Most people never do that. Very, very important. And I know that I'm going to shoot an excellent round when I am relaxed, when I am breathing, when my inner conversation is positive about what I'm capable of. Is everything going to go the way I think it should go? It never does. Just like life, it never does. There are things you cannot control. After the ball leaves my club, I have no control over what happens to it. I can control where it goes within my little area, within my mind, my physicality right there. But once the ball leaves, I can't, it could do anything. It could be the perfect shot, yet it could hit a sprinkler head and bounce right, bounce left. It could do anything. And then I'll have to deal with that if that happens. And that's the way life is. You can I design literally, let's tie this back to what this particular episode is about. I design my golf game one shot at a time. That's what I'm doing. One moment at a time. I am designing. My inner conversation is there. My thoughts, my perceptions are positive. That's what I'm doing. I create a positive experience for myself because I have set the stage for that. I do not go to the golf course thinking it's going to be the worst round ever. That I hope I can do this. I hope I don't screw up. That is not the right mindset. That actually disempowers you. What you're looking to do is empower yourself on a daily basis. This is all within your control, people. All of it within your control. Okay? Set the stage from the inside out. Not from the outside in. You control every aspect of yourself. So start doing it. Own your attitude and transform it. Evolve beyond it if it's not at the peak optimum level that you want it to be. And I see this on TV all the time, these stories of people in the news who overcome the most insane odds. And that's a perception. It's their insane circumstances is really the way I should put that, because the odds it's a judgment based on what somebody else thinks about their circumstances and situation, and we really want to avoid that. We are not here to tell other people what they're capable of, unless, of course, you're going to say you can do anything, you can do this. Boom, positive encouragement. It's up to them. And it is amazing, this connection between encouragement and lack of encouragement. And even some people that have had a lack of encouragement, some young people have been able to move beyond their circumstances to do great things. And there are teachers out there who have a gift of being able to tell someone, of being able to sincerely say, you can do whatever it is that you want to do in life, period. Don't let anybody stop you. If you have a dream, go for it. That dream is going to evolve and morph. However, whatever the dream is today, go for it. Put the pieces in place to make it happen. Put that inner conversation in place that says, I'm going to do this. I will do this. It creates that resolve within you, that state of being, that presence, that confident presence. Even if you don't have all the pieces, it doesn't matter. Don't get caught up in the how and the why. Get caught up in the what. The what is the dream. The what is the dream. It always is. You get up in the morning, go to work, assess whether or not you're happy, whether you've got that confidence, that focus. A good friend of mine who does listen to this podcast, thank you very much. She'll remain nameless because once I say her name, she'll know exactly who she is. She is an amazing individual who, when she connects with me, she says, she gets out of bed energized, works long hours, is doing something that she really, really loves. She's got a new project, loves it. And I'm so happy for her, and I'm so energized for her. And she's got enough energy for 10 people, and she's got to motivate other people. And really, there's two ways to go about this. In her position, you either find people who are self-motivated, or you're going to be having a mixed group of people, some motivated, some not. Business owners have the biggest challenge of all because they're the one passionate about their dream. about building their dream. And they have to get other people involved to buy into that dream. Those are called employees. They're employees, and the problem 9 times out of 10 is that and it's unfortunate, a lot of people that I find, that I see, are only there for the paycheck. They don't buy into the dream. Now, how that occurs is up to the owner of that business. It's up to them to be able to convey their dream and to get their employees to buy into their dream and to incentivize them to buy into their dream. A lot of people who have built very successful companies and become multimillionaires or billionaires in the process have families, have kids that aren't interested in what they do. They can't figure out why. Why don't you want to follow in my footsteps? Because they don't have that dream. They also, in many cases, don't have the work ethic because you've, as a parent, have given them everything that you didn't have. Big problem. When you start giving people what they didn't earn, then they think that that's the way life works. There is no work ethic. There's no desire to go out and set up a lemonade stand to make money to buy XYZ like we all did when we were growing up. Actually, I played music. I was a drummer in a band, but there's no impetus to go set up a lemonade stand to start bringing in money to pay for things to instead of an allowance if what you give them is a huge allowance. There's no incentive to work to buy a car if you've already given them the car. I don't know. I'm not going to go off on that tangent. However, I see this and people wonder why they're disenchanted, disenfranchised, anxious, or whatever. You've got to let people start designing their lives. Give them the tools to start creating a life that they want for themselves. As a parent, this is my fondest wish in this country and around the world, is for parents to simply instill a positive inner conversation in their kids. Teach them, stop them when they're speaking badly about themselves, and have them and to show them what they need to do to correct the language. That is when I wrote a book called Design Your Life, an audiobook, and using self-talk to create your life one day at a time, because that's what you're doing. You're creating your life one day at a time with your inner conversation. And I give a lot of different examples for how to manage your self-talk. Now, I want to tell you a couple of things here. Let's just drill this down. You manage what you can control, your thoughts, your feelings, words, actions. Your perceptions are big on that. I've talked about this before. Your perceptions are huge. You use perceptions, though, to manage what you can't control. Okay, we've talked a little bit about what we can control. Let's talk about what we cannot. You have to have a mechanism for dealing with those things you cannot control, those things that are just thrown at you. Now, keep in mind, this is your life play. You're on stage. The people in your life are players in yours. You're a player in theirs. Let's go with that scenario, okay? And that life is a classroom, a laboratory where things happen, and the main goal is to consciously elevate yourself, elevate your awareness of who you are and what you're capable of, and up your vibrational frequency and the whole 9 yards, right? We've all got a different mission, but generally that, I believe, is pretty much everyone's mission, aside from a core mission, I should say. Now, the things that you can't control, you have to have a mechanism in place to deal with them. Perception is that mechanism. It's one of the first things. Perception is the mechanism. When you perceive things as negative, as the end of the world, as whatever you decide to perceive them as, you're going to set in motion the thoughts, inner conversations, and responses to that pretty much correspond with that perception. It's that simple. So you manage your outside circumstances, those things you cannot control, by being acutely aware of your perceptions of them. seeing them as opportunities versus seeing them as something that's smacking you down. Okay, that's the difference. And understanding that you're the one who decides what the media means to you, that this social media or otherwise. Social media is big now, and I know people, obviously, there are two generations, millennials and Generation Z, that are coming up with only the digital world. And the digital world is fake. Digital world is an illusion, just like everything else that's out there. Everything's an illusion. Everything is there to help you move forward. It's something I came up with the other day. It's really funny. My brother starred in Star Trek Voyager as Tuvok, and they had a device. They had a device on the ships in Star Trek Enterprise and whatever other ships. It's called the holodeck. The holodeck, and what's interesting about this is the holodeck was where you could curate an experience just for you. You could curate your experience of being back home. You could use it as a learning opportunity to help you advance your career. You could create leadership scenarios. You could do whatever it is that you wanted to do. And what I want you to do is think of designing your life by seeing life as a holodeck where you curate the experience that you're actually living right now. Just run with this. When somebody says something to you that you don't like, remember that generally your perception of that is going to dictate how you feel about whatever it is they said. Down here, I live in the South. I haven't experienced anybody openly calling me the N-word, not in 17, 18 years. I know that racism exists down here in one way or another, one fashion. However, I don't encounter it. Not with the police, not with the highway patrol. I don't encounter it at all. I don't look for it. My perception of living here is not that it's racist. I have people from California say, "How could you ever live there? Gosh, it's so backwards. It's blah, 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 this and that." Our street is full of Trump voters. I don't judge them one way or the other. They're people. They're good people. When Hurricane Michael came through 2.5 years ago, we all supported each other. We went to each other's homes to make sure everybody was okay. We helped each other clean up. We acted with love, kindness, compassion, and empathy. And that's what we do. Politics isn't part of that. That's a personality, ego-driven thing. At the core, we want to promote unconditional love and oneness. When we do that, miracles occur. People who wouldn't otherwise come together come together. Choose your perceptions of experiences on the outside. Start there. Understand that you are a sovereign and that you do rule over your mind, body, and spirit. It's not outside things that dictate how you feel. If you get up in the morning and you don't feel good about your job, don't feel good about life, then change it. If you don't feel good about relationship, say something to your significant other. Don't yell at them. Don't start an argument. And certainly don't do the "you did this, you did that." Don't accuse them. Don't blame them. Remember, love, compassion, empathy, and kindness, those rule and can allow you to enter rooms that you would otherwise never be able to go into. Life is too short to live with worry and fear, consternation, resentment, revenge, anger. Life is way too short for that. Your mission, your job is to have fun, to enjoy life, to curate experiences that make you feel awesome, amazing, magnificent, glorious inside. You don't have to do what other people want you to do if that's not what you want to do. And you can say so. If you have a feeling inside that it's not good for you to be doing that, pay attention to your feeling. On the other hand, there are some things that you should do because those things help you face and eliminate fears, worries, self-defeating thoughts about yourself. They might give you an opportunity to succeed. They just might do that. And that's another perception. Will this thing that I'm being exposed to give me an opportunity to succeed, to show what I can do, to display my talents, to discover new talents? Will it do that? You got to ask yourself whether your fear is holding you back or whether your common sense is holding you back. Common sense is one thing. Got to use it. Fears, worries, remember that everything that you do has consequences. Every decision, every choice you make has consequences. Just think the consequences down the line. Am I going to go to jail for this? Okay, maybe that's not such a good thing to do. Am I going to learn a new skill? Am I going to have success that I haven't had before by doing this? Am I going to learn something new that's going to help me forward my career, my life in some way? Got to ask yourself that and act accordingly, because all of this is within your purview. All of it is within your control. Now, just to recap here just a little bit before I shut this off, we're on about 36 minutes right now, and I promised that this wouldn't be too long. However, this is really, really important. The things you cannot control, you have to mind your perceptions, respond in a positive way, and let them go, because letting go is big time. Can't be carrying everything around or you'll be extremely heavy in mind. Those things that you can control, your thoughts, your feelings, your words, your responses, your conversations, those things, those are what you really want to be focusing on, because they design everything else. How you think about yourself today curates your experience of today. It's that simple. It doesn't get any more complicated than that. If you get up in the morning and don't want to go to work, that's going to pretty much decide the consequences of how you feel throughout the day and the actions that you take, the inner conversations that you have, the energy level that you display. All of that is going to be your body language. It's all going to be right there for the world to see. All of it. Choose actions. Choose experiences that have consequences that are positive. I guess that's probably the best way to put it. You have choice. I choose relational connections that enhance your life, that make you feel good about yourself and about life, instead of those that don't. Don't be afraid to leave situations and circumstances and people that don't make you feel good. You're not here to beat yourself up. I don't care how long you've known whoever it is. We all outgrow people because we are evolving every single day. And if you've got friends out there that are making you feel bad inside, feel sad, feel angry, fearful, whatever it may be, you've got to ask yourself, how am I perceiving this connection that I have with this person? That's the first thing, because you may be creating it inside yourself. If you decide that it's not, that you have a positive perception, but you're still of this individual, this connection, and you approach the connection from that standpoint with love, with kindness and empathy and compassion, and the other person is not responding with kindness, in kind, I should say, cut it loose, let it go. Don't beat yourself up about it. I mean, we just have to accept that that's the way it is sometimes. And if you're unwilling to do that or unable to do that, you got to take a step back even farther and say, why is it that I'm like this? How can I break this pattern? It's not them, it's you. They're giving you an opportunity to evolve. They're giving you an opportunity to grow. You have to be able to see it, grasp it, and then work through it and let it go. Evolve through it, I should say. Transcend the circumstances and evolve through whatever it is. Because when you do that, you're going to attract other people into your life that are going to be giving you the opportunity to move to the next level of conscious awareness. Don't be afraid to let go of people you've known for 14, 15 years. I don't care if you've known them since elementary school. I went to 4 elementary schools, 3 high schools. I was having to let go of people all the time. Friendships, relationships, connections. Yeah, all the time. And because my dad was in the Air Force and we moved every 2 years. And I made new friends. Instead of saying, hey, I hated that experience because I had to leave people, I turned around and perceptually saw it as an opportunity to meet new people. All right. My name is Michael J. Russ. This has been a great opportunity to speak with you about this, to share how you can start designing your life, creating it. If you have any questions, love to hear them. If you have any conundrums that you're working through, love to hear them. Love to give you some input. It's my honor to have the opportunity to make this podcast. Love you all, and want you to know that this is your life, not mine. I'm just here sharing. I'm not above you. I'm just a human being just like you. And I work through these situations and circumstances every day. I practice what I preach. I practice every day. Everything that I share in these podcasts, I do. And I do because I love it, because it helps me become a better human being. It helps me avoid pitfalls mentally. And I want you to have the ability to design your life the way you want it to be. And that means making big decisions and small decisions that benefit you and those around you. It's about raising your vibrational frequency, and attracting other people into your life that can help you in untold ways. You never know who you're going to meet. People say, oh, what do you love about life? I love the people that I meet, even if it's only for a moment. Not everybody that I encounter is going to be. I see as somebody who's going to be a friend for life. That's not what it's about. It's about making that momentary connection. They enhance my life. I enhance their life. We move on. That is how I perceive my connections with people. Sitting somebody at a bar or a restaurant, or connecting with them at an event. Things we used to do before COVID. Yet I still do them with a mask on, outside, socially distanced, blah, blah, blah. I'm able to do that here because of where I live. Cognizant of the fact that I do have to be mindful of that there is a pandemic. However, I don't let the pandemic control me. I control the pandemic. I don't let the pandemic control how I feel, how I think about myself, what I think about myself, and how I think about life. That's been a mistake that people have made. They've allowed the pandemic to infest their thinking to the point where they're allowing the pandemic to control how they feel about themselves and how they feel about life. No. The pandemic is just an event. It's just a circumstance. And outside, one of those things you can't control. You cannot control the pandemic, where it goes, what it does, how it mutates, or whatever. You can control how you think about the pandemic in relationship to yourself, in relationship to your own health. And take this opportunity, as I said a few episodes ago, to assess your own health, to assess your own immune system, to assess how you've been living your life. This cosmic 2x4 of the pandemic is, in my view, being perceived by millions of people in a way that is not enhancing their life. Nothing should have that much power. Now, that's it. Appreciate your opportunity. Thank you for listening wherever you are in the world: Russia, Belgium, Sweden, Australia, Ireland, the Netherlands. Thank you. Mexico and the United States, of course. I appreciate it. And again, inquiry at Michael J. Russ is my email. And you can always go to beyondthe3d.com, beyond the 3D in the letter D as in David.com, and leave a comment on any episode. Thank you so much. Take care and be well. Bye-bye.